Okay, so we're here for a little demo on paint.net. What we're going to do is we're going to recreate what Foxy has been asking me for so long. How do I do this? And we're going to work on that right now. So we're going to start with a new 800 by 600. So it's going to, the final will look like this. And if you look in the upper right hand corner, that's where our background is. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to open the book cover that we're going to feature. Now you can see over here, up on the top, we've got two files open. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the selection bar, and I'm going to highlight what I want to copy over as the background. So I highlight it, copy, and you can use your shortcuts if you want to. Now we're going to go over to the other one and we're going to paste it, or Control V or Command V if you're on a Mac. But that's the background. We're going to stretch it so that it's the entire size. And one more stretch there, and it looks good. So whenever you have a selection, you always want to go back to the selector, and you can see that it's still highlighted. So to avoid problems in the future, you always want to click out in the gray area to make sure nothing is selected. So just a single click in the gray area. Otherwise, if you highlight, now you got a selection. So a single click, nothing's selected. So now we're going to make it look like it's washed out. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a layer over this. So what we're going to do is we're going to take and make a rectangle. Now there's three different kinds of rectangles. There's an outline only, a fill only, or a fill with an outline. So we're going to do a filled shape, no outline. The fill that we want is going to be white, because we're going to make it a washout. So we choose white. Now if we were just to draw a box over top of it, it's going to hide everything. So one thing I forgot to mention is you want to do every new thing on a new layer. So you come down here and you add a layer. So we're going to create the washout on a new layer. So like I said, it just covers it up. So we undo that, and then we hit more up here, and it shows. So now we've got the primary color is white, and we can adjust the transparency. So if you click in the middle there, that's going to be too light. It doesn't look very washed out. So I like to jump it up around 200 for a washout. Cover it, and now you have that kind of washed out background. So now we're going to start another layer, and we're going to put the black bar in. We're going to use the same tool, but we're going to make it solid black. And we just come in here, and we put a bar in there, and something like that. Next, we're going to drop the book cover on top of it. So we go back over to the book cover again. This time we're going to grab the entire book cover. So Control A to select all, and then Control C to copy, and then I always unhighlight, and then go back over here, and we're going to paste it. Now it's going to ask if it wants to expand the canvas, because this book cover is bigger than our picture. We don't want to do that. We're going to resize the book cover. So keep the canvas size the same. So now we need to grab a corner. Notice that the hand changes. Now when you're resizing, you can really mess up a picture. So to keep the aspect ratio the same, while you're dragging, hold down the Shift key. And what that does is it resizes in proportion. No matter which way I go with my cursor, it resizes both the height and the width the same. So that looks pretty good. So we'll put that there. And now we're going to do another layer and add some text. But look what I forgot to do. That's still highlighted. If I click on this, that's going to mess it up if I do that without coming out here and unhighlighting that. So we're now on the new blank layer. We're going to add some text, and let's make it red. Actually, what we can do is we can go to the layer we just made, which I just realized what I did is I put two things on the same layer. So I'm going to undo that, until that comes off of there. And add my next layer. So you can all you can do really in this is undo and redo. So again, Control A, oops, Control A, Control C, back over here, Control V, no, I don't want to expand. Hold down Shift, move it up so you can see it. Again, hold down Shift. That looks about right. Okay, another layer. We're going to add some text. And here's the text bar. We're going to make it red. And we're going to just click in here and say, oh, Tide. Okay, you see how it's not showing up? I must have something selected. Yep, see? See how that's selected? It wasn't showing up over here. So I got to unselect that. So if you ever do something, it doesn't show up because something's selected. So go back, text, Tide. We're going to do blog tour. And I'm just going to hit a return, put it on the next line, call it December 1st through the 15th, 2014. Looks great. Okay, we're not going to worry about, so once you click out of here, that puts it there. So just kind of keep it like that and then make your adjustments. So we're going to bring it up to 48. Oh, that's kind of big, but once we change the font to what we want, it'll change the size a little bit too. And I'm going to use a commercial script on this one. And this little square with the arrows is for dragging. It's still a little too big. If 48 is too big and 36 is too small, if you can go in between by just typing in there, so call it 40. That looks pretty good. And you see I just clicked out of there. So I guess it's staying where it stayed. So next we're going to do another layer because we're not done being creative, and we're going to put a border around this picture. So my border is going to be red, and again we're going to do the box, the fill box, and you kind of got to guesstimate and cover it up. Now you're thinking, well, where'd the book go? So with your layers, you can move your layers around. So you want to grab this layer, or make sure it's highlighted, and just hit the down arrow. Now I just moved it down below the text, which you can't see, but once I move it down below the picture, that you can see. Boy, I kind of got lucky, but it looks a little out of whack. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I have this layer highlighted, and I'm going to select around that red box that I want to change the size of. So once I select it, I change the pointer, and now what I can do is I can stretch it. But what I'm not actually changing the size of the box. I'm changing the whole layer. So it's a little bit different than like your design programs and stuff where you're actually just changing the elements. You're messing with the layers here. All right, so now we've got that there. So and just like anything, like if you wanted to, you can move anything you want. If you want to, put that down, move it up, and you can also turn on and off layers if you're working on something and you need to see what's behind it. You can just turn them on and off with a check mark here. So now that we have that, I'm gonna save the paint file as Tide EX, for example. Yes, I'm going to replace it. Now what I need to do is I need to make it an image that we can use online, so that I'm going to flatten it. So you go to your image and you hit flatten, and what that did is took all those layers and made them one. So now we're going to save it as an image we can use online. Let's go JPEG. So a JPEG is a compressed image. So when we save it, yes, it's going to come up and it's going to give us some options. So if you have a really big picture, you can see the size here. And you can get, make the size smaller by changing the quality of the compression. But now look what that did to the words. I can get it real good if I bring it way down. It really fuzzies everything up. So you can kind of get an idea of what it's doing to your image. So I like them full size. So, okay, it's saved. And so now what we have is, let's see, and there it is.